on Wall Street have been kept hidden from public view to buy time, postpone the inevitable reckoning. Bad investments were made even worse. Risks allowed to multiply by keeping them off the books. Derivatives, mortgage-backed securities, and other complicated instruments, often disguised foolish investments, were sold to insurance companies, pension funds, mutual funds, banks, and individuals. When the housing markets collapsed, the values of these securities went way down. Our banks couldn't pay their debts. We saw Bear Stearns collapse, followed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. More recently, Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy, and a troubled Merrill Lynch was sold to Bank of America in order to survive. And now we have other banks and insurance companies at risk. So much the loss and damage to our economy could have been avoided if these practices had been exposed to the light of day. Investments in our whole economy are being put at risk by the recklessness of Wall Street. And under my reforms for the financial sector, that fundamental right will be and must be protected. Too many firms on Wall Street have been able to count on casual oversight by regulatory agencies and government. And there's so many. These regulators have the responsibility for oversight is scattered, unfocused, and ineffective. Among others, we've got the SEC, the CFTC, the FDIC, and the SBIC, and the OCC, the alphabet soup. For all their big and impressive sounding names, the fact is they haven't been doing their job right, or else we wouldn't have these massive problems on Wall Street, and that's a fact. Turf wars instead of working together to protect investors in the public interest. And we don't need a dozen federal agencies doing the job badly. We need the best federal agencies to do the job right. Under my reforms, the American people will be protected by comprehensive regulations that will apply the rules and enforce them to the full. There will be constant access to the books and accounts of our banks and other financial institutions. By law, it will reduce the debt and risk that any bank can take on. And above all, I promise reforms to prevent the kind of wild speculation that could put our markets at risk and has already inflicted such enormous damage across our economy. 2 years ago, I warned the administration and the Congress that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac needed to be fixed. It turns out the problem is even bigger. We waited too long. Now we have a housing crisis, 3 bailouts with taxpayers' money, and a financial crisis. As for the Congress, members in both parties must accept a share of the responsibilities. Some members seem to measure the financial health of banks and lenders by the size of their political contributions. They listen to the lobbyists instead of the accountants. I can promise you, the days of dealing in special favors will soon be over, and the McCain campus financial services industries plays a vital and honorable role in our economy, and I will seek reforms to help them serve their shareholders and employees. But when any Wall Street operator abuses the trust of the public, then they will face the consequences, and they'll have a fight on their hands with this president tonight. Savings and pension of the American people. I'll make sure that Washington works for your interests and not the special interests. Small businesses, owners everywhere, grow and hire. I'll fight to make sure you can afford a home loan, or a student loan, or a small business loan. I'll fight to make sure we create more jobs here at home and prosperity for all Americans. Difficulties we are in today is because of the big spending in Washington and out of control pork earmark spending. Bankrupted this country and bankrupted our children's futures. My friends, earmarking in the pork barrel goes on. It's going to stop. I have never asked for a single earmarked pork barrel project from my state of Arizona. Senator Obama. $32 million in earmarks, literally $1 million for every day. Friends, I promise you, the next time one of these earmarked pork barrel laden bills comes across my desk, I will veto it. You will